Arnold, I have a great idea. Why don't we switch jobs? You take over TV because you're such an expert in ratings, and I take over your job. And then people can finally sleep comfortably again. The only thing is that we don't have to go under completely. We don't have to wait for that moment. Let's change and let's go and be more open and go back to this kind of like a big tent idea of Ronald Reagan.
Independents are about to overtake Republicans in California. What can California do differently?
I think independents are going to take over the Republicans, they're going to take over the Democrats also.
Picture this. Trump sitting in his gold-plated throne, tweeting away like a bird with a megaphone. Suddenly, a wild Schwarzenegger appears, ready to pump some iron into Trump's fragile ego. What follows is a verbal smackdown so intense it makes WWE look like a tea party. But how did Arnold transform from the kindergarten cop to the commander-in-chief of SAS? This has always blown my mind a little bit. 91% that watch this show regularly haven't subscribed. Could I ask you for a small favor before we start? If you like this show, what we do here, and want to support us, the free simple way you can do just that is by hitting the subscribe button. Remember when Twitter was just a place to share what you had for lunch? Well, those days are long gone, folks. Now it's the stage for political drama, and boy, did Trump put on a show. Our favorite orange-tinted tweeter decided to throw a digital temper tantrum that would make a toddler proud.
They hired a big movie star, Arnold Schwarzenegger, to take my place. And we know how that turned out. The ratings went right down the tubes. It's been a total disaster.
The reason why I said it was because their policies were such that they were not really including everybody. The only thing is that we don't have to go under completely. We don't have to wait for that moment. Let's change and let's go and be more open and go back to this kind of like a big tent idea of Ronald Reagan.
Trump fired off a barrage of tweets so hot they could have melted the ice caps faster than climate change. It was like watching a live-action version of Angry Birds, but instead of pigs, he was aiming at anyone who dared to disagree with him. As Trump's tweets spread faster than a celebrity gossip, the internet collectively held its breath. Who would step up to challenge the presidential piñata? It was like watching a nature documentary, waiting for a predator to pounce on its unsuspecting prey. Except in this case, the prey had a bad comb-over and a Twitter addiction. Experts tried to make sense of Trump's tweet storm, but it was like trying to decipher a toddler's crayon scribbles. They concluded that his tweets contained more hot air than a balloon factory during a heat wave. No wonder his followers were starting to feel a bit deflated. It's hard to stay pumped when your leader's arguments have more holes than Swiss cheese. The Twitterverse was buzzing louder than a beehive that just discovered energy drinks. Everyone was on the edge of their seats, refreshing their feeds faster than Trump could hit send on his next tweet. It was the kind of suspense you usually only get from watching paint dry or grass grow. But fear not, dear viewers. Just when it seemed like Trump's Twitter tirade would never end, a hero emerged from the most unexpected place. No, it wasn't Batman or Superman. It was the Governator himself, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Arnold, I have a great idea. Why don't we switch jobs? You take over TV because you're such an expert in ratings, and I take over your job. And then people can finally sleep comfortably again.
What do you think about Donald Trump running for president again?
You know, I think it's the past. And I think that we have to march into the future.
You famously said that the Republican Party has a problem at the box office. I heard you equate the GOP with the Titanic. Explain.
That's right, folks. The man who once promised he'd be back decided it was time to terminate Trump's ego. It was like watching David prepare to take on Goliath if David had biceps the size of watermelons and an Austrian accent. The stage was set for a showdown that would make professional wrestling look like a friendly game of patty cake. In one corner, we had the Twitter-in-chief, armed with his phone and a seemingly endless supply of capital letters. In the other, the Terminator, ready to drop some political truth bombs that would make even the fakest of news look credible. Well, folks, it looks like the Terminator just upgraded his arsenal from plasma rifles to political punchlines. Arnold Schwarzenegger, the man who once promised he'd be back, just came back swinging harder than a wrecking ball at a marshmallow factory. And let me tell you, his response video to Trump's tweets is spreading faster than gossip at a high school reunion. You know how cat videos usually rule the internet? Well, Arnold's takedown is making those furballs look like amateurs. This thing is lighting up screens faster than a Christmas tree on steroids. steroids. People are sharing it like it's the last slice of pizza at a party. It's almost as if Arnold found the secret recipe for viral content. 1 part political commentary, 2 parts bicep flex, and a whole lot of hasta la vista baby attitude. But here's the kicker. Turns out our favorite action hero has more than just muscles between his ears. Political analysts are picking their jaws up off the floor faster than you can say "I'll be back." They're shocked that the guy famous for one-liners and explosions is now dropping truth bombs that make sense. It's like watching a bodybuilder suddenly start quoting Shakespeare. You know it's happening, but your brain can't quite process it. And boy, did the internet have a field day with this one. Memes are popping up faster than Trump's excuses after a bad hair day. We've got Arnold's face photoshopped onto everything from the Statue of Liberty to...
So being from Europe, I've seen firsthand how things can spin out of control. I know there is a fear in this country and all over the world that something like this could happen right here. And I think this is why we have helped it to some extent here in California with getting rid of gerrymandering and to do redistricting reform and to have open primaries. And I think there are very talented people in this country on the Republican side that can run. So I will go, look in the future rather than in a rear mirror.
Well, you name it. It's like the internet collectively decided, hey, let's turn Arnold into the new face of American politics. I'm half expecting to see his face on the dollar bill next week. As Arnold's video keeps racking up views like a pinball machine on steroids, everyone's wondering the same thing. Will Trump respond? Or is he too busy sulking in Mar-a-Lago, plotting his next move like a cartoon villain? Maybe he's just distracted by his Twitter feed, still trying to figure out why his caps lock key is stuck. Well, folks, it looks like the Terminator has done more than just travel through time. He's made Trump's tweets go back in time and disappear.
And we were losing them because we were not addressing those issues. So I was telling them, I said, look, the way you're going, by being so healthcare reform and being so anti-environment and stuff like this, we are losing and we are dying at the box office.
Independents are about to overtake Republicans in California. What can California do differently?
I think independents are going to take over the Republicans, they're going to take over the Democrats also. Very aware of Kristallnacht, or the Night of Broken Glass. It was a night of rampage against the Jews carried out in 1938 at the Nazi equivalent of the Proud Boys.
Who knew Arnold would be the one to say, "Hasta la vista, baby," to Trump's online tantrums? This social media showdown is like a political version of WWE, but with more memes and fewer folding chairs. Arnold's video is spreading faster than fake news on your aunt's Facebook feed, proving that in the world of politics, sometimes the best weapon is a well-timed zinger. But here's the real kicker. This whole debacle shows just how much social media has changed the political game. It's not just about boring speeches and handshakes anymore. Now it's about who can land the best digital punch. So next time you're about to tweet something dumb, remember, there might be an Arnold out there, ready to terminate your online ego faster than you can say, "I'll be back."